Hey guys. So I get asked this a lot. People will send me a message and be like, how much should I eat for this? And how much should I eat for that? So I can't tell you that without working with you one-on-one. But this is, I guess, a good starting point to figure out your caloric needs. It's basic tips that you can utilize to figure out exactly where you need to be, whether it's being weight loss, gain, so you're trying to put on a little bit of lean muscle mass, or you're just trying to maintain. So you've probably seen there's lots of different caloric calculators out there. You can Google it and get a list that's huge. The issue with those is that most of those are off by quite a bit. And then the ones that start pulling in activity level, that throws the percentage of error off even more, because people tend to overestimate their amount of activity is one of the reasons. And then the other is it doesn't allow for variances in activity levels very much versus, somebody that sits behind a desk all day and works out versus somebody that is very active in their job and works out. It doesn't really allow for those type of variables inside of that. It's just a generalized calculator. So what I recommend, and this is how I start with all my clients, is track. Just pick up an app, like MyFitnessPal is my preferred app. One, because it's free. Two, because I can pull a ton of data. When I start working with clients, I really get into a lot of the data, the different specifics inside of FitnessPal to see what's going on with the foods that they're eating and how they're tracking and are they tracking correctly. And none of them are 100%. None of them are. Okay. So don't think that one is right on. But what you can develop is when you start using MyFitnessPal and we really start working together and looking at things, we can get pretty close. We can have an idea, but there's always a gap. There's always going to be a gap between weight loss, maintenance, and weight gain. That's just this part of user error, I guess you could say, when you're using this stuff. But so what you can do, a very simple way to try and figure out what your caloric needs are, is to track your food for 2 weeks, but also track your body composition and your weight. So here we go. I did a talk yesterday, and it's on my YouTube channel, about why the scale is very important in your journey, and you should not throw the scale out. You should work on your mental relationship with the scale if it gives you anxiety, but not get rid of the scale, because it's a very clear and objective way to measure progress. So to figure out caloric needs, you should track all your food as best as you can. You want to make sure you're getting 100% of everything, but get it as best as you can. If you're unsure of what a specific thing is in MyFitnessPal, just do your best guesstimate. That's what I always tell my client. Putting something in is better than nothing at all, because that will get you closer to what your goals need to be. So recording your food in MyFitnessPal, but then again, tracking your composition as well. So I would do measurements on the first day that you start tracking, a couple measurements throughout the body, and step on the scale. I would weigh myself every single day for the 2-week period that I am tracking, and I would make notes of that throughout the 2-week period. The amount of calories that you've eaten that day, and then your weight that correlates with that. And so what you want to see is how much you're eating and whether you're gaining weight, whether you're maintaining, or whether you're losing weight. So when you are tracking and look at that at the end of the 2 weeks, you can kind of go back and look at your summary, and you can track all of this in your FitnessPal again, which is why I like it. You can track your calories and your weight progress, and both of them give you nice graphs, a week at a time view, so you can look at what you've done. And you can go back and compare the amount of food that you eat to your composition. And then again, at the end of the 2 weeks, measure yourself again in inches and just see if you stayed the same, if you put on inches, or you took some away. And then that will give you an idea of the amount of food that you need to eat. So if you didn't change over the 2 weeks and you basically ate about 2,000 calories a day, well, then you would know that around 2,000 calories a day is your need for maintenance. So if your goal was weight loss, you would reduce your calories from that. If your goal was to put on muscle mass, you would increase. You would have to be in a surplus to put on the muscle mass. So it would just give you a baseline to start with, instead of just winging it and doing that 1,200 calorie myth in tons of cardio, because like I've told you guys before, that screws you in the long run. That's a crash diet. So track for 2 weeks, track your food, track your body composition, compare the two at the end of the 2 weeks, and that'll give you a very good idea of what your calorie needs are for whatever your goals may be. So thanks for watching, and I hope this is helpful.